Good evening, happy Sundays, Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's talk about the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals. What do they do? Who are they? And what experience does the members on these boards have here in Yonkers? Join me. What is the Planning Board? What is the Zoning Board? What do they do? Why are they important? And who are the members of these boards? What experience, qualifications, what knowledge do they have? How do they get on these boards? Why were they selected to be on this board? Join me. Folks, I want to talk about this because people have been asking. I saw, in Anthony Moranti's town hall meeting, people were wondering, how do we, know about what's going on in terms of developments? How do we get more involved? Who are the people making the decisions? And if we don't want to see certain developments go up or certain projects, get approved, how do we go about stopping this, right? How do we, oppose these developments that many residents, are now beginning to oppose because they're infringing on their communities, on their homes, and they're bringing a lot more traffic and disrupting the quality of life for many individuals here in Yonkers, areas such as the Northwest Side, where it's a lot of, residentials. Sure, they have apartment buildings there, but as you go more north on the west side there, Yonkers, you start to see more homes, more private homes, right? And so now they're just knocking a lot of stuff down. And it's not just residentials that they're building. They're also putting up a bunch of studios. And I'm not sure if you've been down to Warburton Avenue very recently, just before you get to Ashburton. They're almost done with one studio there. That's the second one that's being completed. Then they're going to begin work on a third studio that will be located just around the corner and up the hill there on Ashburton and North Broadway. So imagine the traffic that we are going to see there as vehicles go in and out. People go there to work and then leave. And then you're going to have another studio right around the corner up the hill on Ashburton there, right on North Broadway in Ashburn. On the corner, there's an empty lot now, and they're planning on putting a third movie studio there. In total, according to Mayor Mike Spano, we should see anywhere from 22 to 24 movie studios here in Yonkers. I don't know where they're going to go, where they're going to put these studios. I mean, already the two that they're building are bringing a lot of traffic just with the construction, and it's making that area on Warburton, which is right across from the Department of Social Services over there, like even more like tight, like narrow, the road there, because the building sticks out a little bit more than the other buildings and properties there. And so I just don't understand how that's going to work. Are they going to remove the Department of Social Services, or is that going to remain there? They're also knocking down some homes that they purchased not too far up, or I should say, north on Warburton there, just before you get to the corner of Ashburn, and they knocked those homes down, and they're going to also use that lot there for more movie studio stuff. And then you have the Armory, right, or the PAL there as well, the National Guard. And I hear that they are also planning on possibly utilizing some of the PAL, and some people have said they might be taking it, that in fact it was sold. That's a unsubstantiated information that I received once. I don't know, but it appears to be the way these movie studios are encroaching on everybody's space. Everybody in this west side there, southwest, northwest, everyone's feeling more crowded, right? We're feeling more encroached, and they're like just invading our space, and making it, a completely different Yonkers than what we are used to, right? For me, at least, what one of the reasons why I love Yonkers is because it wasn't New York City, right? It wasn't as crowded. You didn't see all the cars double parked. Now we have all these New York City type scooters, and people riding a bunch of bikes everywhere now, bicyclists, people walking a bunch of dogs everywhere, right? I see people who are coming from the waterfront apartments with 3 and 4 dogs. How do you live in an apartment? And it's not like these are the biggest apartments that they're building, right? These are like these 500 to 700 square feet apartments, literally. And you're having 2 and 3 dogs or more in there. That's crazy, And so it's really causing a problem for a lot of the residents there that have been living there for 20 plus years, because there are residents who are not originally from Yonkers, but bought apartment in the only owner occupied building there on Grant Street, Water Grant Street over there. And they've been there at least 20 years, some of the newer people. And they're like, wait a minute, we didn't expect all of this development to happen all of a sudden. It was once a nice, quiet little area around there by the pier, and now it's just become crazy. It's just out of control. And who is allowing all of this to happen, right? Who are the individuals that are approving this, reviewing these proposals and then approving them so that they can then be built, right? Who are they? And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And that is the planning board and the zoning board. And many people were questioning Anthony Moranti on these boards and who were the members and why are they allowing this to just happen? Are they not considering the residents? And I'm wondering, why are they just letting all these buildings just pop up all over the place? It doesn't seem like it's really any real strategic planning going on, right? It's just like, there you find some land there, right? Buy it, boom, prop it up, put a 30, 40-story building there, right? Doesn't matter. Wherever you can find the space, put the building there. And that's what it seems like is happening. And I can't even imagine when they begin building the luxury apartment buildings on Chicken Island. They want to put 4 to 5 luxury buildings on Chicken Island. That is the heart of the downtown area. That is a main thoroughfare. I mean, I can't imagine what it's going to look like when construction actually begins. That's going to be an AMS project. AMS is probably the largest developers here in the city of Yonkers. They have done many, many projects, and they've spent a lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money. I mean, these two guys, I think is Michael Mitnick and Ari. I forget the last name. They're young guys. Where you guys getting all that money, man? Can I be down with you guys? Can I roll with y'all? Can I hang with y'all? I want some of that money, right? We need to stop trying to be freaking Manhattan. I agree. And that's what we're becoming. I mean, now you really look at it now, we're really becoming Manhattan. I mean, it's almost starting to blur, right, between actually being in Manhattan and being in Yonkers now, especially when you go into the downtown area by the post office, the library, you got the movie studio, you got the train station, you got the coffee shops, you got the people walking their dogs, right? You got all kinds of stuff going on. You got the double park cars, the scooters, the New York City taxis that can't drive, that are breaking every traffic law and rule here in the city of Yonkers, right? I see them. I can tell by the plates that they are New York City taxis, right? So along with the people who are coming to live here, we're seeing more traffic coming in from the city just as people, take Ubers or take cabs back to Yonkers. So you bring in this traffic as well. So it's a lot. It's crazy. And I agree. I don't want it to be Manhattan either, but that's what it's becoming. It's been bought and sold. IDA, and that is the Industrial Development Agency, and we'll get into that. Let's talk about that. So what is the planning board? What is the zoning board? What do they do? Right? What is their responsibility? A planning and zoning commission is a local elected or appointed, and in Yonkers here, it's appointed government board charged with recommending to the local town or city council the boundaries of the various original zoning districts and appropriate regulations to be enforced therein, and any proposed amendments thereto. So any proposed amendments, which is what these developers have been coming to the planning board with just forget, on a consistent basis. Like, everything is a variance, right? They're trying to change every zoning law here in Yonkers, right? They're going higher. They're bypassing parking requirements, right? They're bypassing the the, what do you call that? I forgot what it's called. They're supposed to have a certain amount of space between the street and the front of the building, right? And they're getting closer to the street. You have to see these homes that were built near it's in District 6, actually near Lockwood and Palmer. The steps coming down from this home literally go to the street. How is that approved? You walk down the steps and you then walk into the street. There's no side. I mean, that's crazy, right? So that's what's happening. So in addition to the Planning and Zoning Commission collects data and keeps itself informed as the best practices generally in effect in the matter city planning and zoning. It may be qualified to act on measures affecting the present and future movement of traffic, right? The segregation of residential and business districts, and the convenience and safety of persons and property in any way dependent on city planning and zoning. And, that's interesting that it says here that they are responsible, right, for the convenience and the safety of persons. And last night, if you saw the podcast from yesterday, I read a comment that was written by a resident on the website for the planning board. And it was a negative comment, and it was basically telling the planning board that they will be responsible if anyone is killed due to a traffic accident, as we've seen in the case of Chris O'Rourke 5 weeks ago. She was walking on North Broadway. A woman lost control, apparently, not sure why, and ran over the 70-year-old woman, killing her, and then going into a home where she injured 2 other people. And many accidents have been occurring here in Yonkers, severe accidents. I mean, cars being flipped over, people dying. And so the person said, hey, you guys continue to, do poor planning, and people begin to die because of the traffic and the congestion and all that stuff. You guys are going to be responsible for that. So they took offense. The planning board took offense to that and threatened with legal action. Unbelievable. Just trying to scare that person. There's nothing they can do legally. So go ahead and comment away. Unless now you're making, violent threats, that's a different story. But that's not what the person was doing. So yes, they are responsible for approving projects after reviewing them to assure that they will not create problems in terms of traffic, in terms of environmental issues, right? As well as the segregation of residential and businesses, although they look like they are combining those, right? In these 15-minute cities that they're now putting up. Everything is right there. Your apartment, the dry cleaner, the grocery store, the post office, the train station, a little scooter or bicycle waiting for you to pay if you want to travel somewhere. It's all right there. So it's no longer being segregated. So let's take a look at the planning board. Well, let me read down real quick. The chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission is responsible for publishing public hearings in the newspaper about certain matters that come before the commission. And this is another thing. Where do they announce these meetings? Well, they're supposed to announce them in 3 different newspapers. And I believe they do that with the Yonkers Voice, Yonkers Times, and the Yonkers Tribune. But they don't put them, they don't give you a lot of notice. I've seen the Yonkers Tribune put it 3 days, literally 3 days before the meeting, which I don't think is enough time. But they do announce it. You can also go to the website, the Yonkers, City of Yonkers website, and you can see when the meetings are happening. Most municipal accounting, planning, and zoning commissions consist of 5 to 7 members. This number does not include alternates. In some states, planning and zoning commissions are regional or county. So so it consists of 5 to 7 members. Let's take a look at the planning board. Who are the members of the planning board? The planning board is comprised of 7 members who are residents of Yonkers, one of whom serves as the chairperson. Planning board members are appointed by the member, subject to approval by the city council, and serve as unpaid volunteer municipal officials. And so Anthony Moranti said in this town hall meeting that he's never once, denied someone that was being appointed by the mayor, right? So he's approved every mayoral appointment to the zoning board as well as the planning board. So with that, Moranti, you bear some responsibility, right? You shouldn't have said that, but you did. So you can't hide from it. At least you were honest. I'll give you that credit, but you bear some responsibility, and I'm going to tell you why. Who is the chair? The chair is Roman Kozicki. I don't know. That's the chair. Other members are Mackenzie Forsberg, Adelia Landy. Adelia Landy. Remember that name, Adelia Landy. John Larkin, as in Larkin Plaza, as in destroyed, shattered GOP, Yonkers GOP, John Larkin. And Rebecca, I'm not even going to pronounce that. Is that how you really spell it, or was that a typo? Rebecca Nova. Well, Rebecca Nova. That's Becky Nova. Becky, I just want to let you know that I did get information on you, Becky, and I chose not to speak on it. So this is just further proof that I don't mention everything. But I have heard of Becky Nova. Something to do with Buena Vista. I'll just leave it at that. And more than that. But I'll just mention Buena Vista because that's where I grew up. I grew up on Buena Vista, Becky. And Yesenia D. Tovar. Just Yesenia. I don't personally know her. We have communicated via Facebook. I did actually reach out to her because I was looking for someone who could work with me in basement politics who spoke Spanish fluently. A lot better than I did, so they can communicate the things that I say here on Basement Politics in Spanish. I don't know. She didn't want to, I guess. It wasn't her thing. But Yesenia Tovar is part of a family that does well here in the city of Yonkers. I believe a Mexican American family. They're up there in class, right? She's does things in the community, but she's young. She's very young, and I actually questioned disappointment when it first happened. That's how how we communicated on Facebook, because she reached out to me, telling me that she was qualified and what her experience was. However, in reading what she had wrote, I still didn't see it. I still didn't see what made you qualified to be on a planning board. And this is not personal, please. This is not personal. Because, okay, this is business. This is serious business. If we're to be professional and do things the right way, you have to know their qualifications, city council members, before you approve them. Why will you approve someone who doesn't have the experience, the knowledge, or background in any sort of city planning, city development, construction, anything, development, anything? Young individual. And not to say that age is, I don't want to, but, then you have Janai Wallace. Janai Wallace has zero experience in city planning. I mean, planning a charity event at the park over there, at Coyne Park, doesn't qualify you to do city planning. No experience, no background, no history, no knowledge in city planning whatsoever. So why was she approved? And Anthony Moranti, I have to ask you the question because you approved this. You and the rest of the city council voted to allow this to happen. But why? Did you question her qualifications? I'm going to answer that for you. No, because I've seen many of these city council meetings where they appoint these members and they don't ask them a damn thing about their past. What makes you qualified? They don't read off their experience. Nothing. In fact, they many times just joke.
Like when they appointed the young kid, Anthony Jalaj, to the zoning board, and we'll get to that in a second. Moranti, you said jokingly, how can I vote no for a guy whose name is Anthony? So you voted for him to be on the zoning board because you have the same name? Is that really how you decide? And so those who support Anthony Moranti should at least ask this question. I'm not saying don't support the guy. What I'm saying is ask the question. Hey, Anthony, why are you not doing your due diligence when it comes to zoning board appointments and planning board appointments? Look what's going on. I don't think they know what they're doing over there. And they don't, because none of them, for the most part, I don't want to say none of them, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them have no clue. They don't have to, right? They don't have to. So again, why is Janai Wallace, Yesenia Tovar, Becky Nova, Adelia Landy, John Larkin, why are they on the planning board? The planning board studies and votes on applications for site plan review, affordable housing developments, special use permits and subdivisions, as well as the associated environmental reviews. This is crazy. They also participate in official map changes, zone changes, as well as the adoption and changes of the zoning ordinance, zoning map, and master plan. They may also issue advisory opinions on other issues. And have they? No, because they have no clue. How can they give any advisory opinion? All planning board meetings are open to the public. Any public comments can be sent there. You see the planning board info at YonkersNY.gov. Right, site plan review. The purpose of site plan review is to ensure that development in Yonkers exceeds the minimum requirements of local law. Applicants are urged to take the application guidelines as a starting point and to prove as much thoughtful information as needed to explain all facets of the projects, the planning to the planning board. Site plan procedures and design guidelines are fully explained in article whatever of the Yonkers zoning ordinance. A complete planning board application consists of the following forms, in case you're interested. Planning board application cover sheet. Department of Housing and Building application review must be current. And so you see this is all in cahoots. So it works together, right? So yeah, owner authorization, detailed project narrative, environmental assessment form. Board determines if additional environmental forms are required. Site plans, planning board sign deposit form, application fees. Right? And so that's what they do. Now let's take a look at the zoning board. And really quick, you can go on here and check out the regular meeting agenda with decisions, right? So you can take a look at all this stuff, right? If you missed the meeting, you can go on here. They'll have the meetings and you can read the minutes. You can see what the meeting was about. This one was on July 12, 2023. Planning board agenda with decisions. So you know what the decisions were that were made on each, project, I guess, or proposal that's come before them. Site plan review for a 4-story, 24-unit apartment building exclusive to senior citizens. They're building a lot of them, aren't they? A lot of senior stuff. Site plan review for 150-unit multifamily apartment development with associated site improvement. Right, and this is 21 Scarsdale Road. Many people had issues with that. Site plan review for a phased development known as the Teutonia Hall, and that's that AMS project where they're doing 900 units on Buena Vista, 41 Buena Vista Avenue, but I hear that's been having some issues there. Site review plan for an 82-unit affordable housing development involving the rehabilitation of 2 existing historic structures for 49 dwelling units. And you notice how when it comes to affordable housing, there's so much lower in the number of units that they build versus the luxury apartments. AMS Teutonia is 900 units. Here we have 49 dwelling units. This one is 21 Park Avenue. The Teutonic, actually, they're stating it's going to be 873 dwelling. 873, actually. Right? So, and then you look at this senior, 24 unit for the seniors. I mean, you know, so they're building one on Main Street, an affordable housing development on the corner of Main Street and Warburn. That one's only going to have 76 units with 25 parking spots. And that's it. And the rest of the folks, if they have cars, will have to park in the street, which is a rough area to find parking, has meters. It's going to be crazy for those folks. Right? So you can go on there and you can look at the minutes, review the agenda with the decisions as well, in case you are not able to go or watch when it's happening live. The zoning board. This one is interesting. The Zoning Board of Appeals is a 7-member board appointed by the mayor. The board hears petitions for area and use variances from the zoning ordinance, along with appeals from the interpretation of the Commissioner of Buildings. Meetings are usually held on the third Thursday of each month in the ceremonial court in City Hall. All applications to the board must be filed at least 22 days prior to the meeting, right? And you can email here. There's the information. Right? ZBA Public at YonkersNY.gov if you feel like you want to send them a comment. So who are the members? Chairperson, Wilson Kimball. Wilson Kimball. Board members, Harry Singh, Hector Lopez, the brother of community activist Lorraine Lopez, who had her minions attacking me, calling me a failure and, praising the fact that they say my business failed. You know, they're Lorraine Lopez's people. Her brother, Hector Lopez, the law enforcement officer. What does that have to do with zoning and planning of city? Ralph Batista Jr., don't know the individual. Gene Tickle. Gene Tickle is a socialite here in the city of Yonkers. Her grandfather was a real estate investor here in the city of Yonkers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, her grandfather has stake in or may own the entire building, the Grayston over there on Warburn Avenue. That's an apartment where, some of the more well-to-do folks, affluent folks of the city of Yonkers own apartments, such as Michael Sabatino and his husband, Robert Voorhees, who purchased an apartment there. Jean Tickle, that's who she is. And remember Jean Tickle, because this is not the only place you're going to see her name. And now Anthony Jalaj. Anthony Jalaj, if I'm pronouncing the last name right, his father is owner of CNNA Realty, I believe, something like that, CCNA Realty. They own 470 Nepperhan, right? That's where you have the offices of the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. You have the fire department does some special stuff there. You have other, people leasing space there. The city of Yonkers once owned that building. I can only imagine the amount of money that the individual is generating who owns it now. They also, I believe, have a DEA office or offices located in that building as well. And they recently redid the parking lot. So, why was this individual appointed to the zoning board? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. And this is another thing that none of the Yonkers City Council members questioned. I remember when they were making this appointment. In fact, this is one of the individuals that replaced one of the veteran members of the zoning board, a man who had volunteered. Remember, this is a volunteer position, who had volunteered for more than 30 years. And then one day he's watching a meeting and he sees that they are, or a city council meeting, I should say, and he sees that they are appointing this gentleman and another person to the zoning board. And they're thinking to themselves, wait a minute, there's no more room on the zoning board. Who is this guy replacing? And that's when the individual knew he was being replaced. Why? Because he was voting no on some of these projects that they wanted to build. One of them specifically was the Hudson Terrace, 44 Hudson Terrace. The, I forget, 25 story building that's going up behind ShopRite on Hudson Street. Originally, they wanted to do 27 stories. And that was the first development that actually got approved to go higher than what was allowed. And then you see now the Teutonia, the AMS project, that's going to be 40 stories. Then you got the 2 Twin Towers over there on Woodworth that they're proposing. 32 stories, 2 towers, 32 stories, directly in front of private homes. No care that people own they have private homes there. They don't care of the traffic coming in and out now, of all the cars, the people living in these 2 towers that are going to be 32 stories. But that one in Hudson Terrace, the 44 Hudson Terrace project, that was the one that really set the tone for changing the zoning law in regards to heights of these developments. So originally, these individuals didn't want to approve that. They said it wasn't good for the community. There were several projects that they just would not approve. And because they would not approve them, they got the boot. But they didn't let them know. They simply just replaced them. And then they received official notices in the mail 3 months later saying, thank you for your services. We no longer need you because you vote no on things we need you to vote yes on. So we're going to replace you with this young guy who doesn't know anything, who once, I don't know if he still does, but once had a $20,000 a year job in City Hall, this Anthony Jalaj doing God knows what, right? And then you have Alfred Vassell Jr. I don't know who the man is. I can't say whether or not he has any experience, knowledge, or what does he add to this board. But Wilson Kimball is very powerful. People are scared of Wilson Kimball. People are scared of Wilson Kimball. I remember when Shanae Williams wanted to ask Wilson Kimball a question, and she just could not get to the question. She was like stuttering. She was scared. Why? Because Wilson Kimball is very powerful, and she will come after you. She will get you fired. She will get you removed from the zoning board like she did to these 2 individuals, and also pushed out the former chair before she then became the chair. And that was approved by the Yonkers City Council. So Wilson Kimball made that move. This is according to my sources. She got them out. She put the pressure. She sent the emails. These guys got to go. And this was before she was the chair. This was when she was just a board member. That's how much power Wilson Kimball has. Wilson Kimball is also the president of Municipal Housing Authority of the city of Yonkers as well. She wears many hats. This is the lovely Wilson Kimball. This is her high school picture. Very proud of it. So Wilson Kimball, president, CEO, also the chairperson of the zoning board, previously served as commissioner of the planning and development for the city of Yonkers since 2013. And she's also become a developer. I'll talk about that in a minute. Macy's Board of Commissioners, and this is important. They are involved in a lot of this development, especially when it comes to the affordable and low-income housing developments. There's a lot of construction going on due to Macy and the Mulford Corporation, which I'll get into. So Macy's Board of Commissioner, James Landy. Remember the name Adelia Landy? Do you think they're related or no? He's a Y. She's an I. Or was it just changed to make it appear that way, right? That's what I was told. I was actually told that they are related. I think that maybe I don't know if it's his wife. And she's on the planning board. Lawrence Sansone, the father of Parks Commissioner, Yonkers Parks Commissioner, Steve Sansone. And Steve, lucky that you were nice to me and you always shook my hand and said hello. And don't stop. Every time you see me, make sure you say hello, Steve, and shake my hand, okay? I appreciated that. And that's why I never mentioned the information I got on you. And it's not the best. It's not the best. Just know this. What you don't want people to know, I know. That's all I'm going to say, Steve. That's all I'm going to say out of respect for my boy. That's all I'm going to say. And a lot of you should be thanking my main man because I'm not going to say a lot of things because of him. Joan Dearling. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Denise is Easy Egg. I should know this last name, actually. I got a lot of emails and information regarding Denise here, the commissioner, and I'll just keep it at that. Zuditu, I have no idea. Diana Brown Temple, Brenda Bach. Brenda Bach. So I don't know who these individuals are, but they are on the, except for Sansone, I do know who he is. I do know who James Landy is. I do know of Denise as well. Denise is also the chief of staff of Mayor Mike Spano. I don't know if she's still in that position, but I know at one point she served also, as says it here, currently serves as the chief of staff for mayor of the city of Yonkers. So that's the board. Executive staff of Macy, Wilson Kimball, again, Esquire, President and CEO. Carlo Diaz, Chief Operating Officer. Mary Lyra, Chief Financial Officer. You can see all that. That's not really important. But I do want to show you the Mulford Corporation. The Mulford Corporation is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation that was formed to develop, manage, and facilitate affordable housing in Yonkers, New York. Remember that. Since its establishment, the Mulford has either developed or co-developed over 2,200 units. But there's a wording game that they're playing here, of low-income housing, and has actively participated in operation of over 19 low-income properties. Well, the Mulford Corporation was responsible for knocking down the old Mulford Gardens, which contained 500 units, and they built what you see there now. It's called Grant Park. However, they only built 100 apartments, a little over 100 units. So a lot of apartments were not brought back. So that deleted many affordable and low-income apartments that were available here in the city of Yonkers. So when they say they are here to develop, manage, and facilitate affordable housing in Yonkers, yes, but they're not here to necessarily add. They're here to take over the once publicly owned low-income and affordable housing and privatize them under the guise that they are going to be able to manage, facilitate, and develop affordable housing more efficient, more economically efficient than the city can. But it's the same people. It's the same people on the board of Mulford as on the board of Macy. Why would they need to form another entity to do what Macy is already doing? But now that the Mulford Corporation has taken over many of these developments, like the new Mulford or Grant Park, the new Cottage Park apartments, over there in Cottage, where Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, and also an employee at Municipal Housing Authority, and also works under Wilson Kimball. So technically, Wilson Kimball is the city council president's boss. And she thanked her when she won. So remember this, folks, when they are voting to approve many of the zoning changes being proposed by the zoning board and the planning board, the city council president, in voting no, will be going against her mentor, her boss, and one of the main individuals she took time out to thank as the reason for her win when she beat Mike Cater in 2021. And so there's a conflict of interest. There's a conflict of interest. And so now once they've taken over these properties with the Mulford Corporation, they then bring in their for-profit management companies that they own. So that's how they make their money. List of board members. Remember, the principal is Brian Sweeney. He's a former baseball player. List of board members of the Mulford Corporation. Chair, James A. Landy. Brenda Gray, James Dearleen, Wilda Mejias, Greg Arcaro, Patrick James, Gene Tickle. Gene Tickle, also on the planning. And remember, the Mulford Corporation still has to go through the planning and zoning for their projects as well. So if Gene Tickle's on the planning board, and then she's also a member of the board of the Mulford Corporation, the nonprofit entity that now makes Wilson Kimball and her crew developers, right? So that's a conflict of interest. Treasurer John A. Liziski or whatever, and he's also a city employee. Assistant Treasurer Carlos Diaz. President Wilson Kimball. Secretary Brian Sweeney, who's also the principal, whose company, for-profit company, gets paid almost $500,000 by the Mofer Corporation of taxpayer money to provide some consulting. So it's just all wrapped up within these individuals, folks. So this is the issue. There's a lot of conflicts of interest. These individuals who are on the zoning board, on the planning board, many of them have no clue what they're doing. They're simply there to approve whatever they are told to approve. We should be asking, why is it that certain individuals were removed from the zoning board not too long ago? Well, it's probably been about 2 years now. Why were they removed? Was it because they did not want to approve certain developments? And if that is the case, then we should know why. Which developments were they? And why did the city council do their job before approving these new appointments that replace these individuals who were not even notified after 30 years? They weren't even given the consideration to be notified first, right? That's how ruthless it is. And that is exactly who they say Wilson Kimball is. She's ruthless. And it's also how she's described in a 2010 New York State Inspector General investigation, where she was investigated. So why has she been approved to be the chair or anywhere here in the city of Yonkers with that history? I don't know. You have to ask that question. You know the why and the who, just not the how to stop them. I'm informing folks how to stop anything that people want to stop is you have to come out. You have to speak out with anything, right? You have to come out. Very recently, a lot of parents have been coming out to school board meetings because of, the transgender education and all that stuff that they have been trying to teach to a lot of elementary school kids. And parents have been coming out because when it comes to our kids, right, that's it. And that has created a lot of change. And so it takes that same passion, to make that change, Carolyn. People have to come out. And this is why I'm talking about this again. I've done a podcast about it before. I've talked about it before, but I'm talking about it again because I still see that many people just do not know. They have no clue how this works. Who are the individuals that are approving these developments, reviewing them and then approving them, and why? And are they qualified to do this? Many of them are not. And so if they're not qualified, but they are approving these projects, why is that? Why are they just approving them? You got to ask yourself why, right? And then you'll see that maybe someone has an interest in seeing these projects approved. And so therefore, certain individuals somehow manage to make it onto these boards that have no clue, but will go ahead and approve whatever it is that they need approved. They don't know. Janai Wallace, no disrespect. And it's not like you're such a nice lady anyway, because I don't really know you. But one day at Riverfest, while she blocked the road and was making a lot of people upset because they could not move, and she just blocked the road with her car and just continued to talk to somebody. Everyone's honking. And I said, can you please move? She yelled, nobody likes you. Oh, no. She didn't say nobody. She said, I don't like you. I said, I don't care. Just move your car. Okay. And right now, no one likes you. All these people honking, you're in their way. Right. And so she eventually moved after, someone the person she was talking to said, can you go ahead? You should move. A lot of people here. And she's a rude person. She's looking for her own, advancement in any way she can. And this is just one step for her. She feels like this can put her in a position to get something else, like council member of District 4 to replace John Rubo. People say he's going to become deputy mayor, and then Janai Wallace is going to replace him. I don't think so. I don't think John Rubo is going to become the deputy mayor. John Rubo got a little bit of heat on him. He's got that PPP thing. A lot of people have been getting caught up with those PPP loans. They have. A lot of people, although they didn't have to pay him back. A lot of people, however, are getting investigated. You know, a lot of people were doing the wrong things with that money, right? It's one thing if you did the right thing and then, okay, you don't have to pay it back. It was forgiven. But if you were somebody who took the money and didn't use it for what it was supposed to, like paying your employees and keeping them employed, then they're coming after you. And John Rubo seems to have done that, right? He was sued by former employees for not paying wages, but he received over $300,000 in PPP loans, right? So I'm not coming after Rubo. I'm not even coming after Janai. I'm just giving you a fact. It's important to the people of the city of Yonkers, especially those that are concerned about these developments and the overdevelopment of Yonkers. They need to know. They need to know this. They need to know who's on the planning board, who's on the zoning board, what experience they have. Many zero. Why are they there? Because they are part of a social elite club that most of us are not a part of, right? And they will do whatever they are told to do on the behalf of a certain individual for developers, right? And Wilson Kimball, I think, runs both the zoning and the planning board, along with Macy, along with the Mulford Corporation. And she has a lot of relationships with these developers. Her husband is over at the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency, where they give the developers tax breaks. He's the president. He too was in that investigation. And they will do whatever they can to make people like me shut up, right? You know, so what they did to me was they started to spread a rumor about me being investigated for child pornography when I started to talk about Macy and Wilson Kimball. And when I posted the New York State Inspector General's report and I read it on my podcast, and next thing you know, I'm being investigated. That's what they're telling people. People associated with Macy, like the chief of staff of the city council president, right, Maria? You were going around telling people that I was being investigated by your boss, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, an employee of Municipal Housing Authority, a woman who thanked Wilson Kimball and James Kavanaugh, the husband, for her win. See a connection? I don't think Maria George would just go on about, take it upon herself, I should say, to go and start to tell people this. I had no issue. I didn't even know the woman. I never spoke to the woman, never mentioned the woman. So why would she do that? And she told prominent people this. Prominent people. I mean, prominent people this. Officials, either past or present. Officials, politicians. And so I know it's true. Right? And this is what they started to spread about me because they don't want this information out. They don't want me really touching on it, right? But we should know. It's important for us to know, right? And this is why I talk about it. So for all the individuals who were wondering about the planning board and the zoning board, I just gave you a little bit of information here. Go do your due diligence, do your homework, go on there. They got the minutes on the website, so you can check out the agendas with the decisions, and make sure you question your council members. Why are you approving this person to be on the board? Did you look at their background? Are they qualified? You have to, hold your council members accountable, because again, the council members hold a lot more power than we like to think, or than most of us really know. And as I said yesterday, we are not going to see a mayor of color, an Hispanic or a Black mayor anytime soon, because of primarily the three: Tasha Diaz, Shanae Williams, and Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. 3 Black women on the city council. Because of the 3 Black women on the city council, you will not see a mayor who is Hispanic or Black for a while. They could have made it happen. Simple, easy. They could have done it. Think about that. Think about that. They, not a white person, but 3 black women prevented from real history from being made. Remember that. They had the power. They could have made things go a lot differently, and they chose not to because everyone's out for themselves, including many on the planning and zoning board, except for Harry Singh, I think. I like the guy. I don't know why. So I'm always going to say nice things about him. Shout out to you. Take care, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. Have a beautiful night. And again, take a look at this stuff. Do your due diligence. Make sure you, if not able to attend the meetings, that you read the minutes, so you check out the agenda. Get involved. Get involved, get involved, get involved. Question everything. Question your council members. Question the individuals on the board, like a Janai Wallace. Why are you on the planning board? There's no reason why you should be there, Janai. No reason. And now I'm sure you really are not going to like me, right? But I don't care. What I care about is having competent people on the planning board. That's what I care about. That's what the rest of the residents care about, because look at what's happening. They're putting twin towers in front of people's homes who once enjoyed beautiful views of the Hudson and the Palisades Mountains, the sunsets. No longer. They have to see these 2 tall, 32-story towers of luxury nonsense. It's all cheap material made to look luxurious so people can feel like they are keeping up with the Joneses as they drive their $150,000 cars to these expensive ass boxes. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Don't forget, tomorrow, July 17th, another town hall meeting at the Riverfront Library. Anthony Moranti, why did you appoint these people? Why did you vote yes for them? Why didn't you ask for their qualifications and experience? And now they're doing all these crazy things like approving the Chick-fil-A that you were protesting. But you put these people on there to do this. This is what we have to ask Moranti. We can't be nice anymore. Stop thinking about the politician. Let's think about us, right? We are the ones that are important, ultimately. Have a beautiful night. Enjoy your week. It's Monday. Peace out. Take care. God bless. Good night.
To me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some of the butter chicken. So thank you.
Let's get it popping.
Ready. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Ready. Fatality.
I was raised in housing. 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 I don't think you were. I want to
end this.
Letting Helen off easy.
Are we doing interviews right now?
Yes, I sent that text message yesterday if you had any questions for the candidates.
Yes, but I thought it was going to be like after we went through the agenda, we would then do interviews. But I'm okay. I don't have any questions. I know.
Okay.
I think she's great. I think she'll be a great first deputy counsel.
You see what I'm saying? No kind of preparation, no questions. Why would you be good at this position? What are your experiences? What have you done? What makes you great? What makes you the right choice? None. This is how they appoint people.
but I'm a councilwoman, so the capacity that I know you.
No, not like that. That's Tasha Diaz talking to Sam Borelli, the building department commissioner. This is how they appoint people.
Letting Helen off easy.
Are we doing interviews right now?
Yes, I sent that text message yesterday if you had any questions for the candidates.
Yes, but I thought it was going to be like after we went through the agenda, we would then do interviews. But I'm okay. I don't have any questions. I know.
Okay.
I think she's great. I think she'll be a great first deputy counsel or counsel.
She don't even know what the position is.
I know how the fuck you think you are.
Oh, that's a former police lieutenant. Potty mouth.
Come on, give it to us straight.
But I'm a councilwoman. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sammy. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
That's Tasha Diaz, the majority leader, speaking to another black woman on the council, Shanae Williams of District 1. You see, the lack of unity among the black women on the city council, the majority, the ones who could have got everything they wanted done, everything that the people needed done if they had stuck together and been united. But they weren't. They attacked each other. They criticized each other, exemplifying what I say is the problem in our community. Blacks and Hispanics, crabs in the bucket.
Ready.